The multiversal meta-comedy Deadpool and Wolverine is the MCU's lone theatrical film for 2024, so there's clearly a lot riding on this tentpole release. Here's what you need to know before seeing the team-up of Titans. Filming on Deadpool and Wolverine was paused during the SAG-AFTRA strike of 2023, but after the actors and studios finally worked things out, director Sean Levy and star Ryan Reynolds were able to put the finishing touches on the third Deadpool film in time for a 2024 release. Specifically, Wade Wilson will return on July 26, 2024, taking the spot previously held by Captain America: Brave New World, which has been moved to February 2025. The superhero behemoth has been releasing 2 or 3 films per year for over a decade now. The last time the studio released a single film in a calendar year was in 2012 with The Avengers. So the big question is whether Wade Wilson can save the struggling cinematic universe and give Marvel its next massive hit. At one point in time, the plot of a third possible Deadpool would have basically been Wolverine and Wade Wilson hitting the open road. In July 2021, after the MCU's Deadpool 3 was made official, but before Hugh Jackman's involvement was announced, Ryan Reynolds tweeted, "Before Disney bought Fox, Deadpool 3 was going to be a road trip between Deadpool and Logan, Rashomon style, for real." With the reference to director Akira Kurosawa's Rashomon, we're assuming the movie that never was would have focused on different versions of the road trip told from Deadpool and Wolverine's perspectives, with neither one remembering the journey the same way. The upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine will focus less on road trips and more on multiversal mayhem. We know from the trailers that the Time Variance Authority of the Loki TV series will be recruiting Deadpool for a special mission.
This is your chance to be a hero among heroes.
It also appears that Deadpool will be meeting some of his variants. In November 2023, Ryan Reynolds announced we'd see the adorably ugly Dogpool, a canine variant of the Merc with a mouth, and a member of the multiversal Deadpool Corps. And we may have seen the Mutt with a mouth briefly in the third trailer. And with the confirmed appearances of characters like Elektra and Pyro, it seems the third Deadpool movie will be a celebration of the Fox Marvel era. Although we do wonder if this is Deadpool's last ride, because according to the tagline, everyone deserves a happy ending. The last time we saw Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, not counting his quick Deadpool 2 post-credit meta-joke, he was sacrificing himself in Logan. So how is he back? It's because the MCU has introduced the concept of multiverses, where anyone can show up at any time. We can't wait to see the wisecracking Ryan Reynolds share the screen with a cranky Jackman, especially since the latter will be wearing his comic book-accurate yellow and blue suit for the very first time. As for the tried-and-true Deadpool crew, Morena Baccarin is returning as Vanessa, Stefan Kapusik is again portraying Colossus, and Karan Soni will get plenty of laughs as Dopinder. Leslie Uggams will appear as Blind Al, Rob Delaney is back from the dead as X-Force member Peter, and Brianna Hildebrand and Shioli Kutsuna return as Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Yukio, respectively. Evan Lewis Tan is coming back as the unlucky Shatterstar. Unfortunately, one Deadpool favorite isn't returning, though. Domino actress Zazie Beetz confirmed that she isn't in the new flick. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman will be joined by Jennifer Garner, who's reprising the role of Elektra, the sai-wielding assassin from 2004's Daredevil and her 2005 standalone movie. Emma Corrin of The Crown will star as an unknown villain who looks a lot like Cassandra Nova.
Boys are so silly.
Matthew McFadden of Succession fame will play a TVA agent reportedly named Mr. Paradox. We'll also see the fiery return of Aaron Stanford, who played the hot-headed Pyro in the X-Men movies. There's also gossip that Daniel Radcliffe might appear, that Daphne Keane might return as Laura Kinney, aka X-23, and that Liev Schreiber will return as Sabretooth. Perhaps the most explosive rumor regards megastar Taylor Swift, who might play the disco-singing mutant Dazzler. When asked about this by The Wrap, director Sean Levy replied, "No comment because that's a double whammy. That's Taylor-related, and it's MCU-related. I'm no dummy. You're going to have to wait and see."
The proliferation of rumors about who is and isn't in this movie, it's fabulous.
Every Deadpool film so far has been helmed by a different filmmaker. The first was directed by Tim Miller, and the second was overseen by David Leitch. The aforementioned Sean Levy has taken the reins on the third, and he's someone Ryan Reynolds knows well. The two previously collaborated on Free Guy and The Adam Project, so they clearly enjoy working together. Levy has also been a big mover and shaker in the world of Stranger Things, producing the series and directing several episodes. On top of all that, Levy directed the Night at the Museum franchise, so he definitely has a gift for handling a mix of comedy, action, and emotion. Levy plans to pay tribute to the 20th Century Fox era of Marvel movies, as he explained to Total Film magazine, "We're not going to pretend, oh, we snap our fingers and suddenly that Fox legacy doesn't exist, and it shaped a lot of what we now know as the MCU. Fox also shaped Ryan's career, Hugh's career, and my career. So there's a lot of history there, and there's a lot of Marvel history at Fox, and certainly that's a part of our storytelling." Originally, Wendy Molyneux and Lizzie Molyneux-Loughlin were tapped to write the script for Deadpool 3. The sisters served as producers on Bob's Burgers and have won an Emmy for their writing on the series, but at some point they were subbed out for Paul Wernick and Rhett Reese, who wrote the previous Deadpool movies as well as both Zombieland films. Wernick and Reese told Den of Geek that they couldn't reveal if they kept any elements from the Molyneux's version of the script. However, they did say that Marvel Studios was very much backing their vision. Reese explained, "I think they've been incredibly supportive of what we're doing because obviously we were doing it separate from them for a long time, and I think they've seen the success and they've had their own even greater success. So hopefully it'll be a marriage made in heaven."
Want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third act flashback?
In a way, Deadpool and Wolverine is a bit like a very high-budget fan film made by a group of friends. Two of the film's writers are alums from the previous Deadpool films, while Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy have a history of working together. It turns out the movie's soundtrack is also coming from someone who's part of that familiar crew. Composer Rob Simonson hasn't worked on a Deadpool movie until now, but he has helped craft the sound behind some of Levy's biggest projects. Simonson composed the score for The Adam Project, and he teamed up with Levy again for Season 4 of Stranger Things. If you've seen either of those, then you know that Simonson is an expert at scoring both quiet moments and big, bombastic action. And his scores flow pretty seamlessly into big needle drops. The Deadpool trailer has already shown us that we can expect more of Wade's favorite tracks to show up in the movie, so Simonson is going to need to channel all his experience to make the movie's score stand out just as much. With Deadpool and Wolverine coming from Disney, fans might be worried that this one will be severely toned down. After all, the first two Deadpool movies are notorious for their raunchy jokes, F-bombs, and gratuitous amounts of blood. Is that stuff going to fly at the House of Mouse? Well, the folks at Disney and Marvel have gone out of their way to assure fans that the Deadpool they know and love will stay his same vulgar self. All the way back in 2017, Disney CEO Bob Iger said on a media call, "Deadpool clearly has been and will be Marvel branded, but we think there might be an opportunity for a Marvel R brand for something like Deadpool." Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige went even further in February 2023, telling Entertainment Weekly that Deadpool would be the company's first R-rated film. Even the screenwriters Paul Wernick and Rhett Reese have made it clear that Disney isn't interfering with their work. Too much, anyway. When Den of Geek asked if the Disney Marvel executives were trying to curb any of the crude humor, Reese responded, "Don't worry about that. They've been very supportive with regard to that. Now, when it comes to a particular joke, if we cross a line, maybe we'll hear at some point. Maybe not that joke." However, Wernick was insistent on one point. Deadpool is gonna be Deadpool.
Let's go!
The Deadpool movies have always functioned pretty much as standalone stories, but it looks like Deadpool and Wolverine might change that trend ever so slightly. Deadpool is officially part of the MCU now, and from the trailer, it looks like this latest movie is going to focus on establishing that connection. We see Deadpool talking to members of the TVA, jumping through sling ring portals, and joking about Marvel Studios head honcho Kevin Feige.
Want to do some cocaine?
Hey, cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is off limits.
Because of that, you might have to do a little homework before catching the movie. You'll need to know what's been going on with the TVA and Loki, and you might need to brush up on Doctor Strange's most recent adventures as well. Like plenty of other recent MCU movies, Deadpool and Wolverine looks like it may pull in all sorts of characters from the multiverse. We know that Elektra will make an appearance, but does that mean you really need to go back and watch 2003's Daredevil and the 2005 Elektra film? Maybe. Chances are good that you'll be able to follow the story well enough without being up to date on everything Marvel. But you should probably get familiar with the multiverse saga, just to be safe.